Thank you for the opportunity and the honor to speak with you all this evening. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for being with us tonight.
I'm gonna note that we're live now.
Okay, we are live.
Okay, so we are live. Okay. Hello, everybody. This is the regular meeting for West Hartford Human Rights Commission. I now call the meeting to order. My name is Assam Barai. I'm the co-chair for the commission. The West Hartford Human Rights Commission fosters mutual understanding and respect among people and encourage equality of treatment of all people, regardless of their race, color, religious creed, sex, sexual orientation, civil union status, gender identity, or expression, marital status, familial status, genetic information, age, economic status, awful source of income, nation, origin, or ancestry, veteran status, or present or past history of physical, mental, intellectual, or learning disability, including but not limited to blindness. The town of West Hartford will conduct this meeting live in adherence with the regulation of COVID-19 and the governor executive order. The meeting will be online. The public are welcome to participate in the meeting via this WebEx or through our YouTube channel. Members of the public can view meeting live on WebEx. The meeting will also be streamed on YouTube with Hartford Community Interactive. You can also view the meeting live or on demand through our YouTube channel. Public comments are welcomed through the meeting via phone by dialing 408-418-9388. Access code is 2331 340 3699. Participants using caller ID blocking will not be permitted to participate. Participants will be called on in the order in which their call was received when prompted by the chair and/or moderator. A participant will have the permission to speak on matters germane to the meeting. Any individual with disability who needs special assistance to participate in a meeting for public hearing should contact Pramod, and he will assist us, will assist those individuals. So thank you so much, everybody. The first business of order tonight is our attendance. Assam Barai is here. Don.
I am Don Ennis, and I'm present.
Okay. Aurora Melita.
Here.
Thank you. Eric Schoenberg.
Here.
Theodore Mancini.
Here.
Sarah Ruskin.
Here.
Kristen Soul. Kristen is here. And Takesha Dunn Everett, and she's running a little bit late tonight. The first order of business will be transported to next month, which is the approval of our minutes. Next order of business tonight is the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, and we have here tonight Myra Clark Siegel. I hope I said your name right, of the American Jewish Committee. She has been invited to address the commission on her campaign to have towns across the state to join the IHRA, which is the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance and Resolution Against Anti-Semitism. I'd like to invite Myra. Please, you have the floor.
Thank you, Assam, and thank you to everybody for this opportunity to speak with you this evening. I thought I would speak for a few moments and then answer any questions that you might have. So I'm going to start off by just telling you a little bit about AJC. I am, again, as Assam mentioned, my name is Myra Clark Siegel, and I'm the Regional Director for AJC, or American Jewish Committee, Westchester, Fairfield, although we work throughout the state of Connecticut. AJC is the oldest Jewish civil rights organization in the United States. We were founded in 1906. The work that we did from our very first day of founding in 1906 continues until today. And those areas include civil rights, combating anti-Semitism, and ensuring Israel's place in the world, just like any other country. Those are the three priorities that we work on. The one of the aspects that I want to mention is AJC is a fiercely nonpartisan organization. We are proudly nonpartisan because we believe that the issues that we work on really are important to everybody, and that means ensuring equality and fairness for everyone. And that is part of our DNA, including, in that, one of the hallmarks of our work are our partnerships with our interfaith and our intergroup partners. AJC has a national partnership called MJAC, or the Muslim Jewish Advisory Council. We have a national Latino Jewish Advisory Council. We have a national partnership with the National Urban League for the Black community. We work very closely with the Asian American Pacific Island community, and the list goes on and on. Indeed, earlier this year, AJC also has been in partnership for several years with the U.S. Conference of Mayors. And in fact, Mayor Cantor signed a joint statement along with 750 mayors from all 50 U.S. states, which is called Mayors United Against Anti-Semitism, which is a very strong statement about how there is no tolerance for anti-Semitism. And again, in terms of interfaith intergroup and the partnerships, which we hold very dearly and think are very important, nationally, AJC launched a community of conscience a couple of years ago, and we launched it in our region earlier this year. And it's really about bringing our interfaith and intergroup partners together, not just in times of crisis, though that is certainly critically important, but to work together and to stand strong and proud with and for each other with all members of our communities. And we are committed to this important work because we truly believe that when we stand together, we are all stronger together. I want to reach back a little bit because we all remember with horror the attack at the synagogue in Colleyville, Texas, a number of weeks ago. And that was the most recent reminder of what American Jews have been facing over the past few years. And in fact, that's not how any of us were planning to commemorate Martin Luther King Day, which was that same weekend, the commemorations. But unfortunately, Colleyville was not an isolated incident. Indeed, just about a week later, white supremacists were marching in Florida with Nazi flags and Nazi salutes. And if we remember the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol, and I kept thinking about it last year during President Biden's State of the Union address, I thought of the images of people who were taking over the Capitol, and many of them had sweatshirts reading 6MWNE, 6 million was not enough. And these are just a few examples of what American Jews have been facing. Indeed, if we think back again to the Pittsburgh Tree of Life attack in 2018, that was really a wake-up call for American Jews. That was a day when 11 American Jews were killed at worship, simply because they were Jews. And that was really a wake-up call for the American Jewish community. So AJC conducted a national survey, the largest of its kind, afterwards, to understand perceptions in the American Jewish community. Was this an anomaly, or was this a sign of an undercurrent that American Jews were feeling? And subsequently, over the past 2 years, we have expanded this survey, this national survey, the largest survey of the American Jewish community and a parallel survey of greater society to understand where there are areas of commonality in terms of understanding of anti-Semitism and where there are disparities. And I thought I would just share a few of those highlights with you all, and then happy to speak with you about the IRA, or International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, working definition of anti-Semitism and the importance of standing up against anti-Semitism. What we found in these surveys was pretty stark. 90% of American Jews think that anti-Semitism is a problem in the United States today. But if you look at the general society responses, it's only 6 in 10, with a full quarter of respondents of general society believing that anti-Semitism is not a problem in the United States. And I think that those stark differences really point to a perception that is vastly different in terms of understanding the threats that American Jews have been facing across the United States. And I'll give you an example. I was driving recently to pick one of my kids up from school, and as I was doing so, I passed by a church that had a sign outside that said, "Our doors are open, please feel free to come in." And I thought to myself, that's incredible. And I then thought to myself, that is a sign that unfortunately you would never see outside a synagogue in the United States today. Because to be a Jew, to go to worship in a synagogue, in a house of worship, we cannot go in without major security. We cannot go in without passing through a magnometer like you would at an airport. We cannot go in to pray without thinking to ourselves, is this a safe place to worship? And that's a really concerning moment, I think, for all of us to think about. And if we think over the past few years, it is, again, Poway, it is Muncie, New York, it is multiple attacks that we've seen from one coast across to the other. And so one of the other things that I wanted to share with you in terms of the importance of this issue is that one in four American Jews has been the target of anti-Semitism over the last 12 months. And as a result, American Jews are changing their behavior out of fear of anti-Semitism. So in the last year alone, 4 in 10 American Jews have avoided doing one of the following things: publicly wearing or carrying anything that would readily and visibly identify them as being Jewish. So someone who would wear a yarmulke, which is a religious head covering, out of respect to God, would not do it in some cases because of fear that that would harm them. Other people have avoided going to places or events or situations out of concern that for their safety and comfort as a Jew. And still others have avoided posting content online that would identify them as Jewish. And again, we're talking about the United States of America in 2022. And indeed, what we found as we looked at the FBI's hate crime statistics, because the FBI collects hate crime statistics nationally every year. They do so on racially motivated hate crimes and on religiously based hate crimes. The unfortunate number one targets of hate crimes in the United States in terms of racially based hate crimes is the Black community, with 60% of hate crimes, which is horrific. And the Jewish community is the number one target of religiously based hate crimes, also 60%. The unusual thing here that just puts that into kind of stark reality is the fact that the American Jewish community is roughly 2% of the American population. So you have roughly 2% of the population, but 60% of the religiously based hate crimes are against the Jewish community. So the stark reality, again, is that this is an issue that has been facing the Jewish community for a number of years. And I will tell you that all too often, the Jewish community has felt alone, utterly and totally alone. And so we are asking for you to consider recommending and adopting the IRA working definition of anti-Semitism. This is not a legally binding definition. This is a definition. And it was designed by many, many expert NGOs and experts on this issue in order to be able to identify what anti-Semitism is, what you can identify and define, then you can measure, and when you can measure it, you can work to address it. And this has been adopted by over 30 countries, many European countries, countries across the world. It has been utilized and adopted by presidents here in the United States, Democrat and Republican. So again, nonpartisan, by numerous states and by a number of different municipalities. And so we're here to talk to you about this. And I want to thank Jay for the opportunity to be able to speak with you all. And I'm happy to answer any questions you have. And also, we're here as a resource. So if I can be helpful in any way, that's why I'm here. And I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak with you this evening.
I also would like to thank Jay for giving us the chance and opportunity to listen to you today. And especially also I'd like to thank you, Myra, for taking the time to provide these valuable information and educate us on the matter. So thank you so much for being here today and for all the work for all the work you do on behalf of the Jewish community and all minority communities across the state and the country. So thank you so much, and thanks for the AJC for all the good work you do. Personally, I support all the work you do, and on behalf of all of my Jewish friends, I'm aware of the problem, and I completely support it. For now, I would like to open the floor for any questions, and I see Eric has his hands up. So Eric,
Was first.
I'm sorry.
Dawn was first. I saw her hand emoji first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have all the picture, all of the. Okay, let me put this. Okay, now I can see everybody. So John.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Assam. Thank you, Myra. As a convert to Judaism, as a parent of 3 Jewish children, I must just confess that I'm very emotionally invested in this, and it hurts me to even have to ask this. But if you would please help us understand, why is it important that people accept this definition of the Holocaust? And can you talk to us about how the Holocaust has often been cited, even during this terrible pandemic? The Holocaust has been manipulated and used by those who aren't invested in protecting their memories of the 6 million.
Thank you, Don, and thank you for sharing your story with us. So your question is a very big one, and I think a 2-part question. So I'm going to do my best to answer it, and be very mindful of the time that we have here together. The Holocaust was a seminal event in history, certainly in modern day history. It was the deliberate murder of the Jewish community. Over 6 million Jews were killed, many of them children, as we know, and certainly many other people were killed as well. People who were gay, people who were gypsies or Roma, many other people. If you did not fit the definition that Nazis used of the pure race that the Nazis came up with, you were killed. I am starkly reminded of this when I actually think about what is going on in Ukraine right now. And what do I mean by that? And this partially goes to your question. Babin Yar, or Babi Yar, different people have heard it different ways, was a forest in Ukraine where the entire population, essentially, of Jews were rounded up and killed at one time over a period of days at the ghetto. And what happened yesterday, and the reason that I am evoking this, is, as we have seen, Russian President Putin has used these terms about denazifying Ukraine. I'm sure that you all have heard these headlines. This was his incentive or claim for the reason that he was steamrolling into Ukraine. The great irony is that actually the president of Ukraine, President Zelensky, is Jewish. There were 4 brothers in his family at his grandfather's time. 3 of them were murdered by the Nazis and collaborators. President Zelensky's grandfather was the only one of the remaining brothers who survived and is now president. So when you think about why is this term and the definition, the working definition of anti-Semitism so important, this is one example. It is one example. It is utilizing the memory of the Holocaust for disgusting purposes, for horrific purposes. And the same concept that we have seen in the pandemic, where people who are opposed to the mask mandate or opposed to vaccinations are using the star that Jews were forced to wear during the Holocaust as an example of why people should not be vaccinated or why people should not follow masks, is again a disgusting use of Holocaust imagery, which needs to be kept sacred. There was one Holocaust or Shoah. There have been many genocides, far too many. But that is one example and a second example of how it was used. The working definition was established a number of years ago. To go to your first part, why is it so important that we have a definition? It was established precisely so that people know what is or is not anti-Semitism. There's no perfect definition. There's no perfect definition for most things, but it is the best attempt by experts to try to define what anti-Semitism is so that, again, people can be aware of it. It is about raising awareness. It is about education, and it is about standing up for our partners, you know, in this case, in the Jewish community, to understand the different ways that anti-Semitism, that hatred of Jews, which is what anti-Semitism is, can manifest itself. So I hope that I answered your questions.
Thank you.
And
Thank
I'll
you
wish
so
you an
much.
early Shabbat Shalom.
Thanks so
And
much.
to you.
Eric?
This is Eric Schoenberg. So I think I may have missed it, but can you just tell us again what the working definition, a two-part question. Number one, what is the working definition of anti-Semitism? Because I think I may have missed it. And then secondly, what are three easy things that we can all do to help combat anti-Semitism? And that we can share with others that are simple, that we can work with.
Right. So I think Sarah just put in the chat what the definition of anti-Semitism is. I can put a link to the you know, official IRA working definition. It is about 38 words, the actual definition of anti-Semitism, and then there are examples that the organizations, the NGOs that drafted the IRA working definition came up with. Again, it's not legally binding. Those are examples of how it can manifest itself. And what are three things that we can do? First of all, one of the things that you're doing right now is one of the most important things. It's raising awareness about these issues. It's talking about it and doing it as leaders. I think that that's one of the most important things. Often, for example, DEI task forces, DEI commissions and committees don't include the Jewish community. They don't think of the Jewish community as a minority community. So I think that as we are looking at these issues, and as DEI, which is such a critically important issue for diversity and inclusiveness, are taking place, we should be participating in that and ensuring the Jewish community is there.
Can you just explain what DEI is? Because I'm not familiar with that.
Of course. I'm sorry. DEI is diversity, inclusion, and equity. And it is being utilized by corporations, by governments, by universities, for example, to ensure that there are conversations about racism and bias against minority communities. And going back to a couple other things. So one of the things that AJC did was develop a glossary of anti-Semitic tropes that are typically used. It's called Translate Hate. And I'll put the link here in the chat in a minute. It's been a long day, so I'm going to multitask a little more slowly. But it's a glossary that actually uses these terms and is there as a tool, again, for education. And one of the other things was, again, something like taking a strong public stand against it. So the Mayors United Against Anti-Semitism statement is, again, another example of taking a stand. It's saying this is a problem, and you know, we're not going to welcome hatred in our community. So I hope that that's helpful.
Thank you so much, Myra. And Sarah?
Sorry, I think Dawn had her hand up before me.
I already asked my question.
Dawn hasn't taken her hands down yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Put your hand
Gives
down.
me a minute to pull up the translate hate for you also. That's okay.
Dawn, stop getting so handsy. Come on.
Take your time, Myra. I don't want you to feel like you have to.
No, it's all good. All good.
I just really want to thank you for the work that you do as a Jew and somebody who's experienced anti-Semitism, and also somebody who's on the DEI committee at my institution. I think this work is important. So I just, folks on here know me, you don't know me. I don't want to sound controversial. I just want to get all the information.
Sure.
And I truly appreciate everything that you're doing, but I did a little bit of homework, and I know that there are some progressive Jewish organizations that aren't comfortable with this definition, who say that they are nervous that it conflates, fight against anti-Semitism with Zionism. And obviously a lot of Jews aren't necessarily Zionists. And so I didn't really I got to be honest with you. I looked at your definition, I didn't get it. So I was wondering if I could just give you the chance to respond to that.
Sure. And I really, really appreciate you, asking the question and raising it. So there are some very progressive groups or Jewish organizations that don't like the working definition of anti-Semitism because they say that it precludes criticism of Israeli policies. And that could not be further from the truth. So I think it's a really important question, and I want to make sure that I answer it unequivocally. The working definition of anti-Semitism in no way precludes criticism of Israeli policies. It is free speech. It is completely free speech to criticize Israeli policies, American policies, Canadian policies, or any other policy of any other government. So that is not an issue at all. There are some groups that claim that, but I would say that its careful wording actually leaves a very wide berth for very sharp and very vigorous criticism of Israel's government and policies. And that's the way it was crafted, because no one would ever stand in the way of free speech.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Any further discussion or questions for Myra? I see none. Eric?
I'm sorry, I interrupted my questions, and I think I'd asked about and if you don't have more, it's okay. But I was asked for three things, and I know the first thing was talking about it, and unfortunately, I interrupted you answering my own question, and I don't think you had a chance to get to number 2 and 3 about what we can do, and simple, easy things that non-committal, don't require a lot of effort, but can help start moving the needle.
Right. So I'll say a second thing that's really important. One of the things that I mentioned is that when there are these awful attacks against the Jewish community, often the Jewish community feels alone. And so reach out to a synagogue or to a rabbi or even to us and ask for information. Show solidarity, say we're standing together with you. This is something that we do at AJC very proudly with our partners in the Muslim community, in the Asian American Pacific Islander community, in the Black community. We need to be there for each other. So if there is an attack, be there and let your partners know that you are there for them and with them. It is really important. Talking about it and raising awareness about it is very important. Talking to our kids about it and raising awareness about it is critically important. And that means, talking about it in schools at appropriate levels for students and for teachers to deal with this. I don't think the number of times that different kids at different ages encounter anti-Semitism, particularly on social media, would shock you. So for example, earlier this spring, when there was a conflict between Israel and Hamas, there was a meme going around that said Hitler was right on social media. In 1 week, it was tweeted and retweeted over 50,000 times. So when my own 15-year-old child came to me and said, why is this on social media? And he's not afraid to stand up and he's not afraid to report it. But think of how many other kids got that on social media and didn't know what to do with it. So to stand up and to respond and to report is critically important. And the third thing really is about taking concrete, measurable actions, like adopting the IRA anti-Semitism definition. And there are many more, by the way, of course, but you asked for 3, so I'll stop at 3.
Thank you so much, Myra. Any further questions to Myra? Okay.
Let me add one more action, if you don't mind, Eric. Every year, in fact, for the past 20 years, we just celebrated our 20th anniversary. AJC here in Westchester Fairfield sponsors a Thanksgiving diversity breakfast. It is the Thursday before Thanksgiving. And every year it's in person, and over 400 people from every faith, every background, every ethnicity gather together to celebrate the diversity that is here in the United States. It is something that we celebrate. This was launched by us here right after 9/11, actually, when we saw that members of the Muslim community were being unfairly attacked in the streets and in our communities here in the United States. So we launched this as a way to stand together with our Muslim brothers and sisters here. And so one of the things that I would say is for the past 2 years, because of COVID, we've been virtual, but we are planning to be back in person this year, and come join us. It's an incredible opportunity to honor people in our community and to be together and engage in conversation with one another and celebrate the diversity that actually makes us stronger. So that's number 4.
Thank you.
Please find out about that event, the specifics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please feel free to email me and Don, whatever emails you have, the details of the event, and we'll gladly share it with the rest of the commission. So thank you so much. Thanks so much, Myra. We appreciate your time today. You're welcome to stay to the rest of the meeting because it's a public, but you don't have to. Thank you so much for your time and your information. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you all so much. Appreciate it. And I'm going to share, you have my email, so if anybody has any follow-up questions or anything like that, by all means, feel free to reach out to me.
Absolutely.
Can I just ask a quick question? Hey, Sam. First of all, I'm sorry I kept on running in and out. I have some stuff going on with my wife and some medical stuff. So I kind of missed a lot of the discussion. So if you could just, if someone, I can probably talk to Myra after the meeting, but if you guys could just fill me in on where we are with this as far as the discussion tonight. Again, I apologize for running back and forth.
No problem at all. Myra just gave us a brief information about the situation, and right now we're just about to move to the next point of business tonight, which is discussion. How should we respond to what Myra just said? So we're just about to open the floor right now for the discussion, and the discussion now, since our commission. We have the power to recommend to the West Hartford Town Council to adapt the IRA resolution. So I think the motion now is if the commission would agree to send a letter to recommend Town Council to adopt the IRA resolution. So the floor is open for the discussion. Eric?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the definition and urge the town to accept it. More than a recommendation, I think we should insist on it.
Second.
I'm not comfortable voting yet. I'm sorry.
But before
But I
we
could
vote,
just
guys,
abstain.
before we vote, we just need to discuss it first.
Okay.
So before we take motion, before we vote, we need to discuss it first. So I appreciate you, I appreciate Eric moving the motion, but before moving the motion, we need to discuss it first. So is there any discussion? Sarah, do you have any discussion?
I need some time to do a little research before I feel comfortable voting, just because, as I said, there has been some opposition. I just want to take it seriously and consider it. I would be very happy with a motion that the town, you know, pass a definition of anti-Semitism. I just want to make sure that I've crossed all the T's and dotted all the I's, that this is the definition of anti-Semitism that I want to put forward to the town. But if I'm alone in that, I can just abstain from the vote. I don't want to put something forward that I don't feel like I fully know all the pros and the reasons why people might oppose it.
I forgot how to raise my hand, so I'm using audio to raise my hand.
Okay, Don.
Would either Myra or Jay address the question that Sarah said about opposition, or maybe Sarah, if you want to explain, what are people who are opposed to this saying?
Thanks, Don. No, I know I already asked, and Myra gave me a really great answer, and I truly appreciate her taking the time to do that. I'm just feeling like I haven't heard enough. Like as I said to Myra, I don't understand what the opposition is, and so I just want to make sure that I understand it, because I don't want to put something forward that then's going to get other members of our community upset because they feel excluded.
Right. I heard Myra's explanation in response to you. I'm just trying to figure out, again, like you just said, what's the logic behind it, because it doesn't seem logical to me.
I think it's a question about, because I do think Myra's organization is very strongly Zionist. And so I think that the question is about whether something about this resolution that people say would preclude criticism of Israel. And I don't see it. So I just want to do some reading, and I don't want to take up everyone's time. Just for my own personal self, I want to do some reading so that I understand it.
So Sarah, do you have a problem? I'm sorry, not a problem. So like your point is about the definition itself, or like you could change the language of the definition to be more like, okay. Eric?
So, Sarah, I did hear your concerns, and I read the definition, and I don't see the word Zionism, Israel, anywhere in there. It seems to be strictly against attacks against Jews or discrimination against Jews. So I might be missing something, and I certainly understand your concern, but I'm just not seeing the issue that you want to look into more.
I totally agree with you. Sorry, this is Sarah Raskin. That's what I've been saying, Eric, because I don't see it either. That's why I asked the question, because I was wondering if they could help me understand where those criticisms are coming from. I just know that I didn't do my homework, and I totally own that. But when I did a little bit of reading, I just saw some articles from progressive Jewish organizations who had concerns. And I just want to read what those concerns were, because I don't see it either.
An assumption is it may be against the organization generally, not against the specific definition that they're working to adopt.
Myra, I see your hand is up, but this is the time for the commission to discuss the resolution. So if there is any public comment, we will keep it till the end. I'm sorry.
And that's probably my fault, because I did. This is Dawn as co-chair. I did call her out, so I apologize.
That's fine. Okay, so any further discussion? I mean, okay, Aurora.
I just want to say that this sounds like progress. Taking a vote on this tonight, I think, does sound like progress to me in the right direction. I certainly want to give Sarah the time that she needs to feel comfortable in participating in the vote. But I would urge that, if possible, if we're all comfortable in taking that vote tonight.
I'm sorry, Aurora, do you suggest taking the vote tonight or wait till?
I'm just saying, I certainly understand. I want everybody to feel comfortable in voting tonight. So I would understand if we postpone so that everyone can participate in the vote. But I'm just saying, you know, that I would urge that we all take it tonight, because I think that it is, you know, it's definitely a step in the right direction. I think whether you feel 100% that you completely fully understand it, I think that it is certainly progress, and we want to show, I think overall we do want to show our community that we support them. So that's just what I think.
Okay. Thank you, Aurora. So I think so. We have two options now, and I will leave it to the commission to decide. The first one, yes, okay. The first one will be if we can postpone the vote till next month until Sarah does her research, and if there is any different version of the definition she would be comfortable to introduce to us, and we could see the two definitions together against each other. Or the second option is to vote tonight. And I see Eric raise his hand, then Aurora. So Eric.
So I want to invoke something which our esteemed co-chair of this committee said one time. Sometimes there are things where there are not two sides. And Essam, that is what you said, and that rung true with me.
Yes.
And as I look at this definition, I cannot for the life of me understand how there could be two sides. And so I would urge a vote on the issue, and I would propose that should Sarah feel uncomfortable, I think that's what abstention is for, because you're not taking a position either way, which is where I think that you feel right now. And I think we would all totally respect that if that was your choice. But I do feel personally, obviously we're all giving our own personal opinions. It's a vote on how we feel on a specific issue. Personally, I feel it is right for a vote, and I stand with Aurora on this issue.
Okay, Aurora, did you have a comment?
Sure, just Aurora Melita here. Like I had said before, I feel, you know, again, I do want everybody to feel comfortable in this vote. So if it's that I would urge that we take it tonight, but if it's that there are some real reservations about doing that and we do it next month, that's okay. But what I don't feel comfortable with is coming back and discussing redefining that definition, just because I don't think we're the experts to do that. So I think that was partly, Isam, in your motion. So I just wasn't sure how to support the potential postponement, but I wouldn't support that aspect of it.
Okay, with the show of hands, guys, I know right now Eric, Aurora, and Don are in favor of voting tonight. Kristen and Ted voting tonight. Ted voting tonight or postpone? Kristen, sorry, Kristen.
I'm good for voting tonight, Isam.
Okay, Ted.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, so do I have a motion to vote tonight? I'm sorry. Do I have a motion to recommend to the town council to adapt the definition?
Yes, I will renew my earlier too early motion.
Any second?
I second.
Okay, so I have any further discussion? Okay.
Can I just ask, I think that the problem, I was just trying to double task myself. I think the problem is in the, not the definition, but the examples given, and that some of the examples specifically discuss criticism of Israel. And so I'm wondering if we can we separate them? Can we separate the definition from the examples? Is that an option?
The definition, the examples are not going with the definition. It will be only the definition. That's it. Okay. Who's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Oppose? Abstain? Okay, the motion has moved. So I think I would, if that's okay, I would suggest something. If Sarah and I would work on the letter of recommendation to the town, and and we'll share it with the commission to make sure our recommendation only includes the definition in which was shared with us on the chat today, and the commission recommendation, just that the commission recommends the town to adapt this specific definition without any examples. Do I have a motion to accept that suggestion?
The
Move.
motion that Asim just said.
Okay. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? The second motion has moved. Okay, so Sarah and I
And I'm sorry, Isam, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I just want to make sure that I recorded this correct. Who moved and seconded the motion?
Eric moved the motion and I seconded it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so Sarah and I will work on the letter of recommendation and share it with the commission to send it. Once approved, we'll share it with the we'll send it to the town committee, the town council. Jay, I say you raise your hands, but all the public comments will be reserved to the end of the conversation. I'm sorry.
I actually have to leave, so I just want to say thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Jay. Have a good night.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you all.
Okay, so the second item on our agenda for tonight is discuss commissioner emails. I think, Eric, did you raise your hand, or this is an old?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I need to take my hand down.
Okay. Discussion of commissioners' emails. I think that was done.
Yep, I'd be happy to address this.
Sure.
So I wanted to introduce the idea that every one of us who are commissioners of this wonderful organization should be proud, and I recommend and even ask you to please identify yourself in any correspondence as a member of the West Hartford Human Rights Commission. But when you do so, and I'll explain why I'm saying this in a minute, I want you to be clear to whoever's receiving your email that you are not speaking on behalf of the West Hartford Human Rights Commission unless either your co-chairs or the entire commission ask you to do so, or you are you seek to do so, and then we vote on that. This came up because one of the commissioners wrote an email and it was unclear. It was not a mistake. It was not a problem or an offense. It's just, it was unclear to a person in town government whether that person was speaking on our behalf or on their own. So the commissioner and I had a conversation. We basically both accept that it's better to be clear. And again, the only reason I want to bring this up is to make it perfectly clear to everyone that if you're going to write a letter and say, as a member of the West Hartford, or as a commissioner of the West Hartford Human Rights Commission, please be clear to include language that says, I am speaking on my own behalf, or I'm speaking on behalf of the commission. One of those two, just so it's clear to whoever's receiving it that your inquiry or your statement or your whatever it is, if it's a letter to the editor even, doesn't represent all of us, or if it does represent all of us. And I just hope that that's clear. And this is not a moment to, call anyone out. It's mostly just to provide guidance. Are there any questions about what I just said?
I see no questions. Okay, so I think that's clear. Obviously, it seems like it's very clear for everybody. So thank you so much, Don, for bringing the issue on. And from now on, I will, if I ever use member of the commission, I will make sure to state that I speak on my behalf unless I have approval of the commission to represent the commission. Thank you so much, Dan. Okay, Sarah Raskin to share update on the honor roll.
I don't really have any updates. We only have about, last I looked, 5 nominations, which seems a little anemic to me. So I don't know, maybe Promote or some we can talk about. I don't know if Renee got a chance to send it out in an email or if it's made it onto the website of the town. I know that we had talked to Matt about doing that. So I just think we need to get the word out. If people want to take advantage of social media, and I can keep posting it on the human rights social media, such as it is. But however we can get the word out more. If we're going to do this, I just feel like we need more than 5 nominations for us to move forward. And I'm personally comfortable with changing our timeline so that we can get a more robust input from the community. But if other people feel like we just need to stick with our timeline, I'm totally open to what anybody else wants to do.
I'm happy with to discuss with you for the push on social media and getting the word out. I'm sure we can push it through our networks and I'm sure more people would know about it. Eric?
So the question is there a specific amount of awards that get given out, or and what it's like in historically, what has been the number of awards versus nominations, and what's kind of the mean that's normal for this?
This is brand new, so there's no normal or history or precedent.
Pramod, did you have your hands up?
Yes, I did. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I'll be happy to talk to you guys and make sure that the town puts it on its website or any kind of social media that the town puts it out, because it reaches out to a huge number of people, and I think that's important. So let's do that town website or any other social media stuff that the town does.
Thank you. I know that Sherry and Matt had agreed to do that. I just think we need to sort of remind them because, they have other things to think about.
Eric?
This is Eric. Do we have any kind of rough idea of the amount of recipients that they're expecting?
Oh, so we get to decide. Sherry's given it back to us to decide. And the only thing that she feels strongly about, which I think we all agreed to a few meetings ago, but also open to conversation if people have other ideas. So we're not giving specific awards anymore. We're just going to have an honor roll. It can be any number of people. It can be different numbers of people, different years. This year we could put 2 people on the honor roll, and next year we could put 10 people on the honor roll. I don't think there's any particular structure that's in place yet. And the idea is it's not like the winners are, it's more like, here are some people in our town that we want to highlight for the really great work that they're doing, and that it would be maintained on the town website as a kind of honor roll. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. More or less, it's going to be anyone who's nominated who has really done something to warrant the award is more likely than not going to be listed on the honor roll. So it sounds like.
That's up to us to decide. I mean, we can come up with some criteria. Maybe for the first year, when we see who we get nominated, we can think about how that frames our criteria. I'd be happy, actually. I'm so glad you said that, Eric, because I hadn't thought this through. So I'd be happy to put together like a little rubric of what some potential criteria might be. But I think I agree with you, if I'm hearing you right, that, we're gonna not be hugely strict or critical, right? If somebody's doing good work, we're gonna put their name on the wall, because why wouldn't we, right?
Makes sense. And obviously, we don't want to put so many people up there that it loses its value. So maybe I mean, like it's like a tough thing to like pair people against each other, but I guess kind of maybe we'll pick a certain amount per segment or section of like ways that they show their compassion.
Thank you so much, sir. Any further discussion? Okay, I think the next item of business is our own Ted and updating us on the crime report.
Well, the crime bill, or however you want to refer to it, never made it out of committee. And I was speaking with Councilman Al Cortez, and I know that he's been in contact, sat down and talked with a couple of the state legislators from town, trying to work with them, trying to come up with a plan for crime that's happening in the town. Now, as a committee, we really try to stay nonpartisan, and all of us usually do a pretty good job of that. But one of the things that I want to say, that's my own personal opinion, is right now, as the council stands with the 6-3 majority with the Democrats, I think that to be able to start getting stuff done, some of the people on either the Democratic Town Committee or more Democratic voters in the town are going to have to start getting on the council members, because things can't get out of committee with just Republican votes because they're in the minority. Things can't get done at the council with just Republican votes because they're, in the minority. The Democrats control all of that. And with, carjacking, stabbings, a robbery right across the street from the police station, it might be time to start focusing on crime in town.
Any further discussion? Eric, do you have your hands up?
Again, I'm sorry. I was still raised. I gotta get better at that.
Ted, you were going to share with us what the language was.
Well, the language, it was a bill, I think, that mirrored what Rocky Hill had, was to call the legislators into a special session to deal with crime. And since that sat in the committee beyond the beginning of the legislature, it just died there, because now there was no more need for it, because now the legislature is in session.
So you're saying it's dead and there's nothing.
Yeah, it's done. It never got back out of committee. Yeah.
So there's no action for us to take at this point.
Nope, not for that. Nope. It's just the conversations that I'll keep having with Al and other council members in the public safety committee on the town council.
Okay.
Any further discussion? Okay, thank you so much. And the next item on the agenda for tonight is Human Rights Commission Days to Celebrate, where we honor and recognize major human rights moments from our history. I think Sarah will talk to that.
I promised you all I wasn't going to talk so much, and now you keep calling on me. So yeah, we have a list. I can find the link and stick it in the chat. Once we agree on it, what I can do is fill in the dates. And then maybe we can divvy up people to take responsibility for each one. I think that what we were, and again, this isn't my thing, so I'm just the queen of Google Docs. So I think what we were suggesting is that we find a way to commemorate each of these dates on our social media platforms. I would recommend not just postings like we did for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, but I'm still all about the going to the community and interviewing people who are doing work on this issue, or thank you, Aurora Melita. Sort of making a kind of a big deal. Like if we don't pick too many dates, if we have, maybe 10 or 12 for the year that we can really sort of highlight, that would be great. But I think the main idea was to not get caught at the last second like we did this year with Martin Luther King Jr. birthday, but that we be prepared in advance. So like if people can put their names next to each event, and say, I will create a social media post now that we as a commission can look over and approve, then it's ready to go when that date comes. Am I speaking truth?
Sounds
Yeah,
great.
sounds great.
Yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah, I will just ask the commissioners not to do it right now. Like if we can do it after the meeting, just we all have the link, and if you can go after the meeting and check the days and decide, each one of us will decide what day you want to take care of your post. And I think once the list is okay, we can go from there. Awesome. Thank you. I think Keisha's dream. Thank you so much. Okay. The next item on the agenda, update on the flag raising and pride event. And I am assuming that's done.
Hello, everyone. And I am caught flat-footed and not prepared, but it'll just be a second while I get this together, because I knew I was supposed to talk about this and I didn't.
While Dawn's getting her thoughts together, I just want to put in a plug. I got somehow put again in charge of vendors. And so if anybody from this commission would like to help me, I would be grateful for a helping hand. Okay, I'm done.
So what's the day for the flag raising?
I'm just pulling it up now. I don't want to say it out loud, because if I say it out loud, I'll say the wrong day. So
it's on record.
I know, exactly. Hello, and welcome to Women's History Month, by the way. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. Oh my goodness. If you're a member of our Facebook group, you will find a lot of posts. So many posts that I can't find the one that identifies exactly what's going on in June.
Okay, while Don pulls this out.
Thank you. Postpone me, please. Put me
Yes, I
aside.
will. Yeah, we will postpone that. And I think I skipped the Facebook Live initiative.
Good.
Update on Facebook Live initiative. So thank you so much to my great friend Aurora for noticing that and letting me know.
By Aurora.
So
Thank you.
I didn't have I don't have an update on that initiative. I know Don and I were supposed to talk about it. We did get into a beautiful conversation a few weeks ago, but we got super busy on things. So hopefully, I will also have another appointment, another meeting to talk about this, and we'll get back to you on that update.
So the flag raising is June 1st. And I just want to encourage everyone to attend if you can. It's usually early in the morning, but most of a lot of the representatives from the town are there, and it's always a really beautiful.
It's not going to be in the morning this time.
Oh, it's not?
Okay. No,
Okay.
it's not. I'm sorry.
Anyway, it's June 1, but we'll let Dawn take her time.
Yeah.
Remote.
It says 6 p.m.
Yep, there it is. 6
6
p.m. Thank you. At Unity Green. And what do you call it? There's also going to be, for anyone who wants to join us, there'll be a pride flag raising at Congregation Beth Israel, which I'm a member of, on Farmington Avenue that same day prior to the town flag raising. But there's going to be music, and there's going to be town officials, and a proclamation that will be held at Unity Green at 6 p.m. And there are other events that are being planned throughout the month of June. And I'm hoping that we are able to do what we've done in the past, which is to promote it, to support it. There'll be more events that are in person this year than even last year. And we're negotiating with the town exactly how to do that.
Thank you so much, Don. Two things I'd like to say. Number one is, Eric, every time you drink your water like this, it reminds me of the Pepsi ad that comes back in the days. I was like, brings all of the good memories. So thank you, Eric.
I'm happy for that.
Number two, I will not participate on the flag raising event because on June 1st, I think I will be out of the country on a research trip.
How exciting.
So
Well, I will
it's very
definitely.
exciting. Yeah, I'll be for a month gathering data for my research.
I'm very excited about that.
Thank you. So I'm out of the event, but it's one of the big traditions of the Human Rights Commission, and it's one of the big events that was started and supported heavily by the commission, and one of the things that commission takes care of A to Z, and it's every year it's one of the best events around town. So we should continue the tradition, and please. So now we know Don and Sarah are the two people who are managing the event. So Sarah, I see you're shaking now.
I'm not managing anything.
You're not getting out of this so easily. We talked about this a few meetings ago.
Yeah,
You think you're
too
out,
late,
but we
Sarah,
bring
too
you
late,
back
too
in.
late for you. So if anyone, hopefully Don and Sarah will keep us posted about the progress of the event, and hopefully we all will be willing to help. I'll be out of country on June 1st, but up to June 1st, I'm happy to help Sarah with anything you need.
And I'm going to be putting in the, whoops, that's questions, in the chat with everyone. This thing, where is it? Oh my God.
Big Pride Festival is June
Yeah,
25th.
it won't let me paste. Oh, I hate this.
It's going to be even bigger than last year. So
yes,
June
yes.
25th.
And
Aurora asked a question for
Aurora, go ahead.
Which says, I got the flag raising info, but what was the event following the racing you mentioned?
On June 2nd, there'll be a all ages welcome kickoff party from 4 to 9 p.m. at Gastro Park. And then there will be the celebration on Saturday, June 25th, that will highlight our diverse community. And there's going to be a calendar of events between June 1st and June 26th June 25th, that will excite you and hopefully you can attend. And I'm sorry, I can't show this, but you'll have to just trust me. I can send it to the commission after.
Okay, thanks so much, Don. Chris, you have?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, are you guys gonna have a Human Rights Commission table again this year, or is that too much info to share right away?
That's something we have to actually discuss. We have to discuss
Up
what
to the
we want
commission.
that.
Yeah, that's
it's the commission's event, so we kind of have to.
Yeah, okay.
I think so.
Okay.
But I mean, I think I would be remiss if I didn't say we should all decide that we should do that.
Chris, you have to have your beautiful outfit for that. Like, come on.
I know I'm gonna really try to attend. I had so much fun. I will be like maybe 2 weeks postpartum, so if I'm all healthy and good, then I'm definitely there for sure. And the outfit will be better this year.
When you are all healthy and good.
Yes, when I am. Thank you. Yes.
Hopefully you will be healthy and well by that time. Then you will join us.
Exactly. I'll just have a baby carrier and I'll dress the baby up too. We'll be fine.
Exactly.
That's wonderful.
And it was actually the event last year was the first time I met Eric in person. So that was very
cool. It was very nice to meet so many of you.
I know, that was awesome.
I'm looking forward to that again.
As you can see, Don shared with us the brochure for the flyer.
This is the press release we worked on. It went out to all the media. You're going to read about it in West Hartford News. You'll read about it in weha.com. And if you take a screenshot, you can find out all more information there. Plus, there's contacts. And that's the only way I could figure out how to do this. So I'm going to stop sharing now.
And I will be more than happy to table for us again.
Great. Excellent. We'll take more volunteers.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Any further discussion? Perfect. Thank you. So the next item on the agenda for tonight is Chris talking to us about the Juneteenth event. Yay.
Hey, Juneteenth. Okay, so obviously it's gonna be on June 19th, 2022, which this year it falls on a Sunday. The time is gonna be 1:30 to 4 p.m. Just due to there's gonna be like a farmer's market usually in the morning. I guess that day when I talked to Renee, she said there was a farmer's market. So we're gonna do 1:30 to 4. It's going to be exclusively in Blueback Square. It's going to be different. Last year we had it by the town hall and Blueback Square, but we're going to do just similar to Pride, how it was just right in that central location. So like Sarah, I'm trying to find sponsors, vendors. Eric, I know you reached out to me.
How do I give you money for this? We're trying to do that.
So we actually, me, Ace, and Matt had a budget meeting today at like 3:00. So we're gonna get you that information by the end of the week. We
Okay.
just want to have everything
in.
official, but I did say, I was like, Eric's hounded me to give us some money, so we definitely have you locked in, Eric. And vendors. Oh, Sarah.
Oh, I just wanted to find out if we can have a table.
Yes, so that is a thing too. So we are gonna have a Human Rights Commission table. And it's gonna be like Pride, like it has to be what is it, 20 by 20 per fire inspector? Like, yeah, 20 by 20 space. You can have a 10 by 10 tent or whatever. So yeah, that'll be fine. So whoever would like to come and work the table for the Human Rights Commission, that'll be awesome.
Me.
Sarah. Oh, that's awesome.
I did it
Okay.
last year. I will do it again, but I hope not to be alone this time.
Oh, I know, we're done.
Or-
I was like,
or-
should I go with her?
If Pramod could please bring the cover of the tent, not just the stand of the tent.
Oh my
That
gosh.
will also
So
make a big difference.
I did mention that today too. I was like, we got to make sure that we have tents for the HRC and a couple of the other town committees. So we will make sure you guys have tents. So Sarah and Dawn, perfect. You guys are awesome. And yeah, so basically we're just going to be, I can't give out too much info yet because we just had our first meeting last week. So it's still in the works. So we're just basically focusing on finding vendors, sponsors, donors, just to get our budget up. But it's going to be great. It's going to be like, if you just think of like Black Cookout, with the music, the DJ, and yeah, more details to come. I'm kind of limited on what I can say. So
We're excited. Does that mean we're invited to the cookout? This is
you are, but you guys are definitely invited to the cookout.
I can't believe it.
You brought this into yourself, Chris. You brought this into yourself.
So yeah, that's right. But I mean, I will share more details as we progress and as I'm allowed to release more info. But just all I can say is stay tuned. It's going to be some big things. So excited.
It's so much fun. Those events are so much fun, and it's really great opportunity for showing support, learning, meeting great people, and have so much fun and great food. So it's a great opportunity. Thank you so much, Chris, for
You're
for
welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. The next item on our agenda for tonight is me and Don talking about the Elmwood Community Center. And as we shared with you guys via email, the email we got and the invitation to join the new committee that's the town is forming to discuss the progress and plan for the new Elmwood Community Center. And Dad and I proposed to join this commission on behalf of the commission. I'm sorry, join the committee on behalf of the commission. So many C's tonight. So I would like to open the floor for any discussion.
So just to clarify, this is this.
Raise your hand.
I'm sorry. Yes, Sarah.
This is the space that's up the hill from the park, right? From Beachland Park.
Yes, correct. Pramod?
Yeah, it is the former St. Bridget's School at 100 Mayflower, which is close to Faxon here. So one of the plan is also to move Faxon Library there along with the whole community center.
Very exciting. So my only comment, which goes without saying, I know, but I just am going to say it anyway, is that somebody be on the committee or that the committee reach out for a consultant for ADA issues, because often architects just follow the law of the ADA and it's actually not at all accessible, and there's all kinds of problems that nobody anticipated. I just went through this building a new building at Trinity that I was involved with, and so it's really, really worthwhile having somebody on the committee that can really talk to you about, you know, just having a big bathroom doesn't make it an accessible bathroom if there's no space for the wheelchair next to the toilet, you know, those kinds of things, and widths of hallways and sharpness of corners and ramps that are way too steep and become ice flows in the winter. You know, there's all kinds of ways to think about these things. So I just hope, you know, especially we have a certainly large enough aging population as well as population of people with disabilities, that I would just love from the outset for them to have a voice.
And this is hopefully why we're trying to create a very diverse committee that will oversight this project and make sure that all of those concerns are included. And also we will continue sharing the updates with the commission to be able also to make sure the commission are fully aware of all the progress and what's happening, and also include all of the recommendations from the commission to any progress of work or anything like this. Okay. Eric?
So now that with iPhones, you have the opportunity to emphasize a comment that someone just said. I'm just gonna click to emphasize what Sarah said, because as a child of a parent with disabilities, it's really great to hear.
Emphasized. Promote.
Yeah, I think that's very important thing to look after. And we also have Susan Oslander, who is the ADA coordinator for the town, and she's also involved on this project. So I think she will be looking after those details. So somebody to talk to is her. You know, what kind of details is coming up on the ADA stuff on the building, which is, I think it's absolutely very important. As I can see, even in this old building, we don't have much of those looked. I mean, this was built in 1954, so you know, not much of things has been updated in this building, but you know, we're looking at something which is better on the new building if we move there.
Thank you. Eric?
So just from my legal perspective, there is a concept called pre-existing non-conforming, which is essentially an excuse to get a building passable, even if it would not be okay if built now to current standards, but they go back to, well, was it okay at the time? And if it's okay at the time, it's okay now. Technically under law, which I think is exactly what Sarah was saying, but for practical purposes, it doesn't help those people. And so we need to encourage them to do more. Exactly what you said.
Thank you so much, Eric. Any further discussion? Okay, so do I have a motion to join the committee, and for myself to represent the commission on the committee?
I'll make the motion.
So we have Ted. Any second?
Second.
I could. Oh.
I just want to say thank you for being willing. So I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you so much. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you, Isam.
Aye.
Seems anonymous, so thank you so much, everybody. The motion has passed. Thank you so much, everybody. And the next item in our agenda for tonight is the location for our April meeting. So basically the two options are, should we meet in person or should we continue meeting virtually?
This is Donan as co-chair. I have a question for Pramod.
Of course.
Have we figured out whether the location that they want us to meet in is available to WebEx and people who want to join us virtually?
Yeah, so if we meet here at Faxon, I may be able to do that, like a hybrid setting. So I talked with folks at Town Hall, and because of, everybody's trying to get into those meeting rooms, they suggested that we meet either at the senior center or Faxon. I said, senior center, I don't have, the access to all the technology stuff there, but at Faxon, whatever the commissioners decide, either you want to make it hybrid or you want to meet in person, I will be able to do that.
I'm sorry, to summarize, so the options are whether the town hall or the library or virtual and hybrid.
Yeah, so the town hall, as I got the information from the town hall, there isn't any meeting rooms available at the town hall. So we have an option either to meet at the senior center or the library. I think it's better to meet at the library because I have access to the room and all the stuff. I'm not sure about the hybrid. I got to talk to folks at the town whether that's they want us to do that. But it's at this moment it's either in person or virtual. Those are the two options. If we want to meet in person, then library we can definitely do at the library. And here at Faxon, parking is easy. You just park outside. Just come in instead of getting parking somewhere else, walking in, getting confused. There's only one community room. You can just walk in straight to the community room.
And this is the library and Elmwood area, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you so much. So how do we feel about meeting in person or continue virtual? Chris?
I really don't mind either way. I mean, the kids are unmasked now in school, so I mean, honestly, like before I was like, but now I'm like, whatever. I'm fine with either. Whatever the majority is, then I'm cool with it, but I'm not opposed to either. So
okay,
it's just my 2 cents.
Okay. Eric?
Just how are there no rooms available at Town Hall? It is not a small building. Maybe I'm just not familiar with the intricacies.
I have the same thought, Eric. I promise. It's like, what?
I don't easily take no for an answer. That's just me.
Yeah.
I'm sure Pramod, you are the most polite, respectful person I've ever met.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you wouldn't push them. But
Yeah,
maybe
I mean,
one of us
I
has to.
should have pushed, but again, that's one of I told them that we're going to be talking about the moving in-person meetings from April. They said the rooms aren't available because everybody's trying to get the rooms right now. Everybody's coming back to doing in person, and so I said I'll get back to you if we decide to meet in person or virtual. So, and that's when they said, if possible, if you can do that at Faxon. So I said, yes, that's just to give you a short answer.
I am not afraid to not be as completely polite and respectful as you are. So if you can provide the information on who to contact to arrange this, I think I could probably get it done. And I'd be willing to take that task on.
Okay.
If we decided to meet in person,
Correct.
Eric will be the lead on getting us a room. Okay. Kristen, did you have anything?
No, I was just gonna say I was thinking too that the town hall is more centrally located. Like if Eric had to drive to Faxon, he wouldn't be getting home till 10 o'clock at night. So that's kind of, you know what I mean? Like for me, Faxon, I could probably walk there and get there, and but for somebody as far as Eric lives, the other side, it would take him, So I think town hall would be a better location just because it's central to everybody.
Pass on the bus line for anyone who doesn't have a car. It's right there.
That's right.
We have to think about people who don't have vehicles.
I mean, I do think that there's a bus line on New Britain. And
Oh yeah, it's a lot of bus lines, and the fast track and everything is right there next to Faxon. But
Promote owns basically the library. So that's,
yeah, that too.
but I don't have a strong feeling. I do think, I mean, just in fairness to them, I don't think there's a lot of like it's a big building, but a lot of it is people's offices and other kinds of spaces that are, you know, the rooms where the town council meets and the Board of Ed meets. So I think there's only a couple of meeting rooms. I mean, I've only ever been in maybe 2 or 3 small meeting rooms in there. So maybe that's what the issue is. But Eric, definitely keep us posted on what you're able to, what magic you're able to make happen.
So,
If you can just email me whoever I would need to contact if that winds up being our decision.
so by show of hands, who is in favor of in person?
Me. This is Dawn, co-chair.
Either way is fine.
1, 2, 3, 4, and Don is 5. Eric is 6. Okay, so we're meeting in person, and Pramod, please share the information with Eric to see the room issue. Thank you so much, Eric, for taking the lead on that, and thank you so much, Pramod, for helping us. So next time we will be meeting in person. I'm super excited to meet every one of you in person, and hopefully, especially Ted and Takesha, because those are the only 2 people I have not met in person yet. So I'm very excited to see you guys, to meet you in person next month. Now it's open discussion. Any topics for open discussion? I just want to make sure, like, Ted, we haven't heard from you today. It's cold outside. I know it's cold outside, but come on.
No, just more of a spectator today, just listening. Nothing really controversial, you know. So
as long as everything is okay.
yep.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. So that being said, our next meeting is April 6th on Wednesday. Location is still to be determined. So thank you so much, everybody. And do I have a motion to adjourn?
Sure.
Any second?
I second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you so much, everybody, for your time tonight, and we'll see you next month. Have a great night.
Be safe, everybody.
Bye.
Easy.
Bye, guys.